Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome for those of you who are joining us for the first time. This is a Gear Up Georgia virtual service webinar on ACT and SAT test prep options available through Princeton Review. My name is Dawn Cooper. I am the State Project Director for Gear Up Georgia, and I'd like to welcome you all. I hope you and your families are staying safe, well, and secure during this time. If you will please make sure that you sign in. If you go to the chat menu in the left-hand corner of your screen, there should be a link for you to sign into the meeting. And again, this meeting is just making sure that we are in the right meeting. My apologies, folks.
You're in the right place, Don.
All right. Chat menu popped up with a different area on there. So yes, please make sure that you sign in. That is the way that we let everyone know that we're working with, who's in attendance. It also will allow us to follow up with you as well. So again, please make sure that you do that. Also, as a reminder, please make sure you mute your phones when you're not speaking. We will have some time for questions at the end of the presentation. If there's something burning, definitely let our presenter know. But we'll also have additional time at the end. And we have students and parents and district staff, program coordinators on here. So Chris is going to walk everyone through how to take advantage of the test prep options available through Gear Up Georgia. So at this time, I'm going to hand it over to Chris.
All right, how's everyone doing this afternoon? I hope everybody can see and hear me okay. If not, let us know in the chat. My name is Chris Benson. I'm the Institutional Account Manager for the Princeton Review for Georgia, Florida, Alabama, and Puerto Rico, and it's great to meet you all. First, let me start off by saying, in these tough times we're going through, I hope that everyone's doing well, taking care of yourselves, taking care of your families, and I hope everything is going all right. What I want to do today is take some time to walk you through some of the online options for preparation that are available through the Princeton Review. Because of the times that we're going through, a lot of what would have been in person is now switching over to online. So I wanted to walk you guys through what some of that looks like. So my plan here is to talk about the online preparation options that we're making available, then to sort of give you a walkthrough of some slides that will show you what our self-paced resources look like. If there's time, maybe give you a live look in to our online classroom, and then take some questions towards the end. So without further ado, I want to go ahead and share some information with you. I want to start off by taking a look at some online preparation options. So hopefully everyone can see this in their window. Just as an FYI, Dawn, I can't really see the chat, so if anything comes up I need to know, feel free to tell me. But this is a view of some online options that we will be making available to everyone. So you can see there are 3 bullet points here because there are 3 major options that we're offering. The first is for the existing in-person classes that were in flight or in progress in Clayton and Savannah when we had to when everyone stopped going to school because all the schools closed down. So we're going to be taking those in-person courses and moving them to our live online classroom platform. And that's the platform that if time allows, we'll take a quick look at towards the end. But these are the classes that were already taking place in person before recent events. We're going to move those classes to our live online platform. They'll be on the same schedules as they were originally, the same days, the same times. The only change will be that they'll be taking place in our live online platform instead of in person. And the plan is to resume the Saturday classes that were already in progress on Saturday, April the 4th, and to resume the weekday classes that were already in progress on Monday, April the 6th. And Princeton Review will be sharing information with the students and parents in those districts about how students can go online and log into those online classes that are going to restart on the dates above. The second bullet point I wanted to talk about quickly here is our online self-paced for existing students. So all of our students who are already working with us through the Gear Up program had access in their online portals to our online self-paced resources. These are drills and videos and lessons that they can go in and watch at their own convenience on their own timing that will help them get prepared for the exam. They can still take tests, there are assessments they can do, but it's a program that's designed to allow them to study independently on their own timeline. Those can be accessed at www.princetonreview.com via the email address on file and the Gear Up email address, if that's the one we have, and they can be used independently for students to study at their own pace. So those resources will be online and available. And then the third major bullet point here is new live online classes. So in addition to the classes that were already in progress in person that we're moving to live online, we'll also be starting some new live online fundamentals classes. These fundamental classes will meet 2.5 hours per session for 6 sessions once a week, so over a total of 6 weeks. They'll take place in our live online classroom format. Those classes will start sometime after April the 6th. The exact dates are still being determined, but sometime after that. Some potential schedules include Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, all from 1:30 p.m. to 4 p.m. And the Gear Up program is going to provide an Eventbrite link to gauge interest there and take sort of early enrollment and interest into those courses. So before I go any further, does anyone have any questions on those particular options and what we're offering from the Princeton Review so that your students can continue to study online now that events have made in-person class non-feasible?
Chris, I just wanted to add really quickly that
Sure.
if you don't have to have been in an existing face-to-face class to take advantage of online self-paced, you can do so using your Gear Up Georgia email address. If you don't know what that email address is, please make sure you reach out to your coordinator and they will share the link with you for you to be able to access that. We also have an online resources page at gearupgeorgia.org. There's also a link there for you to retrieve your Gear Up Georgia email address. So that online self-paced is available to students who may not have already been in any sort of class, as well as the new live online classes.
Yep. And I know that Dawn and our team have been working very hard to make all that information available to all of you. And I'm sure she's happy to answer questions, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you have as well. So there's nothing else on that intro. What I'd like to do is take you sort of on a little tour through some of the resources that our students have available. So I now want to share with you a PDF that I will pull up momentarily. Okay. Can everyone see this online dashboard PDF on their screen?
Yes, we can.
Excellent. So I just want to take you on a little bit of a tour. So the first thing students are going to see when they log in, when they go to princetonreview.com, is they're going to see a scene like it's over on the right here that's asking them to put in their username, email address, and their password to sign in. Once they have done that, and that's the email address that they already have or the one that you could obtain from Gear Up through the process that Dawn mentioned earlier. Once they have that, again, they'll be here on the main Princeton Review homepage. You can see that on this Princeton Review homepage, there's a place where they can either sign up or sign in if they already have that username and password. Once they sign in, they'll be taken to a page that looks like what you see on the right here. So it'll give them a couple of boxes for SAT Ultimate Online Classroom or ACT Ultimate In-Person Classroom, depending on online classroom, depending on what they have access to. What they'll want to do is go to where it says SAT Ultimate Online, and they'll want to click that Open Course button. And once they've done that, I want to give you a little tour of what their website might look like. So this, I want to say one thing about this page. If someone's taking sort of an in-person class that was fully transitioned over to live online, they're going to see a page like this. It's going to list their schedule, upcoming dates, which ones are live online. And as you can see towards the bottom, they actually have the option to view a recording of a past session or to review content. This is what they'll see if they're in an actual live online scheduled course. If they're in their self-paced resources, they won't see a schedule like this, but all the other tabs I'm about to show you will still apply. So for example, they'll have the ability to take practice tests. You see at the top, you've got several tabs across the top: study, tests, reports, coursework, schedule. Those are the resources that students have available. So if they go to this tests tab, they have the ability to take actual practice tests online. They can either use the online proctor, or they can take the tests if they do the online proctor, there's a launch bubble sheet option you see that lets them launch an actual bubble sheet on screen that they can use to fill in the answers for the test. Then they can put in their answers and get their actual grades online. So even though they're not testing in person, they still have full capability to take the same test they would have been taking in person and to get their scores in a very short time frame. Then, of course, once they do that, they have access to our full score reports. And this gives you a quick guide to those. So for every test that you take, it will show you not only your full score for that test, not only will it put that score in context if you've taken other tests to show you trends, but you can see a detailed report that for every test tells the student, here are the questions you got right, here are the ones you skipped, here are the ones you missed, here are the right answers to those questions. In many cases, they can sort of click a link to go through into the question to see what they chose and connect the information they submitted with what the actual test said. So they have a very sort of comprehensive process here that lets them test and then get very thorough reports on their test results so that they can see exactly what they did and how they can improve. Again, here's a view of the sort of in-depth detail for the test reporting. So you can see not only does it give the total score of 1140, but it shows them for every section, for every question. You got this one right, there's a green check. You got this one right, wrong, so there's a red X. And here's your answer, and here was the right answer. And here was the actual question that you can look at. So you can see why you chose the answer you chose and why you should have chosen a different answer. So they have a great deal of detail available to them in terms of their testing. Again, here's what that score report looks like in depth, so they can get as specific as they want, narrowing down by category, by kind of question, by content, etc. One of the things they can also do is they can set goals. So when they first log into their course online, they can set goals as to what scores they want to achieve, and it will help them track progress over time. It will tell them when they're getting closer to their goals, what things are going to help them make a big impact and toward achieving that score, etc. The coursework is all in one place, so you can see it's divided by different sessions. It's got what you can learn, what you can practice independently, and it's broken down for different parts of the course. You can see over on the right-hand side, it says math, writing and language and reading, with individual subject matter under that, heart of algebra, writing and language development and organization, information and ideas questions for reading comprehension. So they can get very granular in terms of the kind of skills they're practicing and the kinds of activities they're doing to improve those skills. It can also help them build a study plan. So they can, based on the timing of their test and the goal they want to achieve and where they are now, the system will help them build a study plan to show them the things they should be doing weekly, monthly to improve at the rate they want to improve. And you can see on the right under where it says your SAT prep plan, they were able to put in a target score. It's also got their most recent score, so it can show them how much room is left between where they are and where they're trying to go, how much time they have to get there, and help them build a plan to get them to that place by that time. Again, there are some sessions there that they can log into, and there's a detailed study plan of expert sessions. And then this is a really good page on this resources tab. This actually lists all the different sections essentially that are in the SAT 6.0 manual. So if they want to see information on the intro, they want to see information on mastering, POE, process of elimination, they want to see the method for how to plug in answers, it's got the different sections of the book laid out here individually in pieces they can click on so that all that information is available to them. So as you can see, the self-paced resources are really in-depth. They give students the ability to go granularly into the different kinds of content that are available, to build different kinds of exercises to help them improve in different kinds of areas. So it's designed for folks who have time and who want to go ahead and sort of control the pace of their own study and focus on the areas they want to focus on to get the improvement they want. And lastly, before the Q&A, I wanted to try to share one more thing with you, which is I want to see if I could give you a view of what the online dashboard or sort of the live online classroom looks like. One second.
And Chris, while you're pulling that up, they can log in at the regular Princeton Review site with their Gear Up Georgia email address, correct?
Yes, as long as we get the address and can upload them, yes, they can log in using that email address and go ahead and take advantage of those resources.
I just want to make sure they do the distinction because the tutor.com is their special site to go in, tutor.com/GearUpGeorgia, but this is, they can go to the regular Princeton Review site and log in. Just want
exactly
to make sure
right. Exactly right. So when students who are transitioning into live online classes go and click on the link in their web page, that activates the class for that day. This is a view of the online classroom they will be able to log into. So as you can see, it's a basic online classroom. It has a participant window and a public chat over on the right. On the left, it has a lot of individual tools they can take advantage of. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to try to bring up something for you so you can see sort of what the slides look like. So let's see. Let's pull up the 6.0 introduction. So when they first log in, this is what they'll see. It'll ask them to play a test sound to make sure their audio is working. It'll give them the option to choose their preferred microphone or camera. Usually we ask students not to be on camera too much because it can affect the bandwidth, but they'll certainly have microphone access so that they can talk into the room and speak with the instructor. And then we should be able to pull up some slides here if we can get those to come up. It's like our slides aren't coming up quite as quickly as I wanted them to.
Chris, you may want to turn your camera off. That might help as well.
Let's see if that makes a difference for us. That's a great idea. Okay, well, this is not super convenient. I was very much hoping to show you guys some live slides. So let me see if there are some slides that I have already pulled up that I can share with you. Hold on just a second. All right, let's see what we've got right here. All right. So here we go. I'm going to launch another classroom for you. All right, here we go. So when the student enters the online classroom, the teacher will be present and they'll have the ability to pull up slides like the ones you're looking at right now. So this slide represents the introductory part of the SAT 6.0 manual. This is the manual that comes with the actual in-person class. And you can see there are various slides that we can use here. And the teachers have the ability to manipulate these slides in a lot of ways. So for example, they can draw circles around key points. They can underline points. They can highlight things they feel are important. They can come over here and they can actually write on the slides themselves. So they have the ability to manipulate these slides in a way that will let them give a class very much like the in-person class, just as interactive as it would have been in person. There's also a public chat they can use so they can interact with students this way. And students can interact with them back as well. So this room is designed to be very interactive, just as interactive as an actual classroom would be. Students also have the ability to speak on microphone into the room so they can talk with teachers one-on-one. They have the ability in some cases to actually put questions on the board if they want to ask specific questions as teachers work through these slides. So this is just a quick view of the kind of interaction that the students have inside this in-person classroom. So between this in-person classroom, which is what we use for our live online classes, the self-paced resources, which is what we give access to for students who are not in live online classes, every student should have the ability to work with us in an online way to continue their preparation even without in-person classes being available, given current circumstances. And with that, I want to go ahead and switch over into a Q&A. Are there any questions that I can answer for anyone?
Chris, could you take them back to the Princeton Review website and show them what needs to happen for them to log on, sort of where that is?
Sure. You mean that those PDFs that we had up earlier? Absolutely. So let's go ahead and bring those back up.
Someone has a question.
Okay. Yep. I can't see the chat, but if you have a question, feel free to go ahead and ask.
They asked how often are the classes?
So it depends on which classes you're referring to. If you're talking about the classes that were already happening in person for Clayton and Savannah, they'll be on the same schedule. So if those classes were happening Monday through Friday, they'll continue to happen Monday through Friday. If those were the classes that were happening on Saturdays, they'll continue to happen on Saturdays. If you're talking about the new classes that we're in the process of arranging with Dawn and the Gear Up program, there'll be 6 2.5-hour sessions once per week. So 15 instructional hours over the course of 6 weeks.
Hey, Chris, this is Randallette. Hope you're doing well. One of my coordinators is on the call, and she wanted to know if they have any login information that they could actually go into the site.
Sure. So I believe we've actually taken the coordinators and given them access via what we call our admin dashboard. But sometimes that email gets caught up in junk or spam filter. So if you haven't received it, or if you have any questions, just shoot me an email. I'll be happy to get with you individually and spend a few minutes talking about making sure that your access is up to date and talking about how that works.
Okay, thank you.
Of course, anytime. And I hope you're doing well as well. Thanks for asking. Any other questions I can answer for anyone?
So Chris, we have a question from a Thomas County student.
Sure.
She's interested in, if you have time, could you look or do a little bit more on the SAT test section?
I lost your volume. Do a little time on the what section?
On the SAT test prep section.
Sure, absolutely. Was there a specific question she had?
I think maybe just walking her through what that choice selection looks like after she signs in, and choosing SAT prep, and sort of some examples of what they'll be doing on SAT prep if they're in a class.
Okay, so in terms of the slides we were looking at earlier, that's a great question. In terms of the slides we're looking at earlier, once you go to our website, you can see where it says sign in. You'll put in the information that you have for your username and password. That's when you'll put it in on the screen that looks like this. When you put it in here, you'll have the option to choose SAT Ultimate Online. And when you choose your SAT Online course, you'll click that blue Open Course button. That's when it'll take you into all these different kinds of slides. So you've got tests, you can look at score reports, coursework, schedule. Is the question like what kinds of specific things are available inside the website? If that's the case, let me see if I can pull something up. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Sophia, you can ask Chris any specific questions now. Just unmute yourself. She's being shy.
I totally understand. Absolutely.
I don't know what her specific questions. Are you there, sir?
Yes, ma'am. And thank y'all for going over this with us. But I was just more curious about when you were showing earlier the how you can like type in the score that you're looking for and then prep every day to get better. I'm sorry, I kind of like missed out on that part.
Okay, absolutely. So I've gone into sort of a sample account. It's not exactly the same as what you'll see because what you'll see is kind of customized for you all, but this is a sample account. So you can see over on the right-hand side here, can you see this page where it says welcome to your SAT student tools?
Yes.
Okay, so you can see there's a place here where it talks about a target score. So you can put in your target score goal. You can also put in the date when you're planning on taking the tests. Obviously, those dates have been updated to reflect which tests are no longer happening and which ones are. It'll let you know which tests you've taken, and it'll base it on your date. And then you can see down here, you can also put in a target school. So this sample account has a target school for Harvard College, which generally speaking, the average score is a 1520 for the SAT. But depending on which school you choose, it has scores programmed in for different schools, so it will adjust to whatever your choices are. And then you can see sort of different lessons, right? So let's see, we take a look at, we go into that first class 1 lesson for SAT and we go to global strategies, and I'm gonna resume this because we've previously taken a look. So here are the kinds of things you can do. And there may be a little lag time here because we're live online, so I apologize, but it'll take you to this opening page. You can do getting started. And so it's giving you information here. You can see there are some slides getting you ready to do some learning. It's telling you what you'll know by the end of this particular module. But you can also watch a video. So it's got videos. So you can see there are actual videos there that will walk you through specific content areas, right? So not only do you have the ability to put in your target scores and your target schools, but once you identify what specific kind of content areas you want, you can watch videos that will help you prepare for those things. You could watch the video on process of elimination if you wanted to spend some time in depth seeing someone demonstrate how that process of elimination process works. Then you could go explore. Asking you a few questions. What's more important on test day? Accuracy or speed? Of course, accuracy all the time, because you don't get graded on how many questions you answer. You're graded on how many questions you answer correctly. What is the capital of Malawi? Don't know. But what if you have answer choices to work with, right? And it takes you through different ways of answering questions. Obviously not London, Washington, or Paris. Must be a long way. So it just walks you through different ways of approaching the content. There are videos to watch. There are practice quizzes that you can do. So it just gives you a lot of different resources to continue to walk through individual kinds of content. And you can do that for the different areas. So that was global strategies, but we could do that for math. We could do that for reading. Does that answer some of the question in terms of the things that you can do to work through this stuff?
Yes, sir. That was perfect. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Happy to help. So these are all the different kinds of online resources that we make available to you all, and I hope that they're really helpful in terms of continuing to prep even while in-person classes aren't as available as they normally would be. Are there any other questions that I can answer?
Yes, there was a parent who
Chris,
asked
there's another one.
if the parents have a special login, or if they want to review this information, they have to go through their student.
So generally speaking, there would be one login per student, and the parent would also access that. If the parent has specific information they can't find, of course they can reach out and we're happy to help. But generally there would be a login for the student, and the parent would also access that to see the same information. I thought I heard someone else talking. Was there another question?
I have a question.
Sure, go ahead.
How would I be able to access my login information for the Princeton Review website? How would I figure out my login, how to get into the website?
So if you're a current student, then you've probably already received something from us that tells you your login information that was sent to your email address. If you haven't been prepping up with us to this point, then your current email address should work once we know what it is, but that would be something where you could go through Dawn. There's a resources page where you can get that information. Dawn, I don't know if you wanted to speak to that at all. Hey, Dawn, are you still there?
Yes, I'm sorry, I was on mute. I'm going to grab the screen just for a moment and share
Sure.
some resources with everyone. Let's see here. Can everyone see that slide?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay. So to log in, if you have, all of our students have a Gear Up Georgia email address. That's what they would use to access any of these resources. And so if you were in a current existing class, then someone's going to reach out to you to show you how to move that face-to-face class online. If you're doing a new class and you're interested in signing up, we will send you we're sending everyone a link to sign up for the new online classes that take place with a live instructor. There'll be some choices of the day that you want to take the class, and then we'll send you that information directly. If you just want to go online and do some online self-paced work, you would log in to princetonreview.com. You retrieve your Gear Up Georgia email address at www.gearupgeorgia.org/resources. And that's the email address. The password is Gear Up Georgia, Gear Up GA, all caps. And that is how you access your account as a Gear Up student on princetonreview.com. If you start to have any questions at all about maneuvering through the site or things like that, this is a 800 number here as well. Make sure that you let them know that you are a Gear Up Georgia student using your Gear Up Georgia account, and to make sure that there's not any technical issues that you're having. And if you have questions on whether or not, if you for whatever have problems with retrieving your Gear Up Georgia email address at all, your program coordinator, you can reach out to your program coordinator or your school coordinator through the contact Gear Up Georgia, through the website here at gearupgeorgia.org/contact. So those are the different ways that you guys can get involved with this. Again, online self-paced, everybody can do that. There's no live instructor. You can do that at your own pace and use all those really cool tools that Chris just mentioned. But if you want a live class, we'll be sending a link out to everyone, especially the folks who logged in here. So as a reminder, if you did not sign in, please make sure you sign in. There's a link in the chat menu for you to sign in to let us know that you're here. Give us your most current email address that you're checking, and we'll send all that great information to your email address. So make sure that you sign in if you haven't done so.
That's right.
And that's parents and students, as well as anyone else. I see we have some awesome school coordinators on the call. We have program coordinators on the call. We have some district folks on the call. So if everyone could please make sure that you sign in. As a reminder, this is being recorded. So what we're going to do after this meeting is share it on our Gear Up Georgia YouTube page. So there will be a link there where you can watch this video and you can share this with your Gear Up Georgia friends who weren't able to attend. And we'll also have a link on our resources page as well. All of our other virtual resources are on gearupgeorgia.org/resources.
I have a question.
Okay.
My question is, are most of the colleges and universities wanting SAT test scores or ACT test scores?
That's a great question, and I will jump in and say that by far, the vast majority of colleges and universities will take either. What they have these concordance tables that compare ACT scores to the corresponding SAT scores, but most schools will take either exam. So what it really comes down to is which one do you think is a better fit for your student? Whichever one you determine it is, it's that one. Now, the caveat there are a few schools, not many, but a few, that prefer one test. So my advice is to go to the website for the school you're thinking about and just see if they tell you they want one test or the other. But I'd say over 99% of schools will accept either.
Okay, thank you.
Of course, happy to help. Anybody else?
So how would my Gear Up email be?
Can you speak up a little bit? We can't hear you, sweetheart.
When I asked about how to log into the Princeton Review website, my Gear Up email, would that be the same as, is that my school issued email or is it something different?
That is something completely different. So every Gear Up student has an email address that has their name at gearupgeorgia.org. It may be different based on your middle name or whatever. So just make sure that the first thing you do is find out, and I'm going to share my screen again with you so you can have that email, that website. So you can retrieve your Gear Up Georgia email address at www.gearupgeorgia.org/resources. And you'll see a link there that will say retrieve my Gear Up Georgia email address. You'll click on that and move forward. If you have any problems there and you're not able to locate it, or you're getting an error message or something like that, go to our gearupgeorgia.org/contact page, reach out to your coordinator, and let them know that you're having problems retrieving your Gear Up Georgia email address, and they will let you know what to do next. Okay, did that answer your question?
They may have gone back on mute.
Okay.
So hopefully that helped. Is there anyone else that has a question for me or for Dawn or for anybody else who's here? That might be all, Dawn. So I don't know. I don't know if you want to wrap us up or something.
Sure. So again, can't say enough. First, want to thank Princeton Review for holding the webinars today. Thank Chris and Eric Bell, who's on here as well. We really appreciate all the support you provide for us. We want to make this as easy as possible, guys, for you to access, and we really want to make sure people are taking advantage of this. So if you know other Gear Up Georgia students who don't know about this, or are not on the call, and or parents as well, we really ask you to please share this information with them so that they can take advantage of it. And again, if you have any problems at all accessing it, please make sure that you let us know. And absolutely, please, everyone sign in. It's very important that you sign in so we can collect the information on who's here and be able to continue to support you as well. Okay, well, if there aren't any other questions, again, thank you everyone for joining us. We look forward to continuing to support you. Please be on the lookout for additional virtual services information from Gear Up Georgia, and hope your families continue to stay safe and secure during this time. Everybody wash your hands. Have a great afternoon.
Take care, everyone. Stay safe.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you.
You as well.
Aren't you glad you got a mommy like me? I'm partying all the way out.